Hello, this is Sylwia from Radio Cenzura for Kaleidoscope of Inspiration. Today, I welcome on the air my dear friend Dino Notaro, curator of the exhibitions in Dublin. We worked together for a good few years in Inspire Gallery. Welcome you, Dino. Can you tell us about yourself?
Hi, Sylvia. Good morning. I'm an art curator in Dublin. Currently, I'm curating at Ranelagh Arts, but I also freelance. I met Sylvia during my tenure in Inspire Gallery in Dublin,
Yeah.
which was set up by Sofia Swatek, a Polish artist, in 2013. I joined Inspire Gallery in 2014, and we launched in 2015. Up until 2020, I was curating exhibitions on a weekly and monthly basis at Inspire Gallery. It was a platform for emerging and established artists in Dublin and international artists as well. Um, Basically, the philosophy for me was to showcase the diversity and the changing landscape of Dublin through art, working with a variety of artists across a variety of mediums. So you could go to an exhibition of photography, followed by an exhibition of abstract paintings, followed by an exhibition of video installation. So it was an ongoing variety of exhibitions that I curated. Yeah, it was a wonderful experience, and it was my education as an art curator in Dublin.
I remember that time. I think I joined, 2017, maybe late 2016 or something like that. Yes,
Yeah,
and was like every week was big experience. We did invite the artists from all over the world, young artists, older artists. Some of them they've been very established, some they're very bit new, but there's always something interesting new. Yes, and different styles, different. I remember, I think when I first time came, was like all wall was in sort of those combs. Do you remember that? I don't know the show.
yeah,
It was, and sometimes another time was the big mural, like the painting on the wall. So everything was allowed, and yeah, that was amazing time. I remember. So maybe Dino, can you tell us what is your process? What's inspire you? Why you been in the first place drawn to creating art, and how's that really start?
well, for me, it's always been in something that I was um, the word I'm looking for is drawn to. Something that is always, it's been in my DNA, being creative. And for me, this was an opportunity uh, to be part of a community. And the wonderful thing about Inspire Gallery was that you were just talking about, it was a blank canvas for artists to come and showcase their work. So every show had its own personality. And I think that was a major selling point for the gallery, because the public would come and not know what to expect. And each show had its own different ingredients, its different style. So people came, and it was something that grew. And working also with colleges, it gave a lot of artists the opportunity, emerging artists, the opportunity to showcase their work without any restrictions. And it was independently run. So basically, the artists would come to me with a proposal, and we'd work together. So it was almost like a creative relationship. And all those ingredients um, uh, came together, and it was something I always wanted to do. to nurture, and it just grew and grew, and it's continuing now as well. And I think more than ever, Dublin needs that, especially after the last 4 or 5 years. There seems to be a transition now at the moment in Dublin, and we need to start getting back to the independent artists, the independent businesses, move away from the corporate,
Yes.
and allow the independent businesses, the independent artists to showcase their work. Dublin has a lot of talent here. And that was one of the main things. From traveling in my earlier years, I traveled. I met a lot of talented artists from Ireland who were abroad showcasing their work. And I always felt, why can't they show their work in Dublin? Why do they have to move away? So that was one of the key ingredients to, showcase the artists at Inspire Gallery, and as I continue now, is to give them that platform to showcase their work here rather than going abroad. Because I think Dublin needs that. Dublin needs that sense of culture, creativity, and sense of individuals stepping up and being allowed to be creative and whether it's in business, whether it's in art. I think it's very, very important, and that kind of inspires me now. And also having patience and taking my time. Every city has its own little quirky things, and in Dublin, it's just finding the right location and taking my time as well. So it's a lifelong journey for me. It's something I always want to do, and it's always there. I do other things in my life, but curating is
your passion.
That I will always, yes, it's my passion. It's something that is always going to be with me. It's not going to go away.
Yeah, this is very, very good points. Like like what you say, in Ireland, there's loads of artists. Because Dublin as a city doesn't have an opinion of being like arty, especially visual art, like London place. But like there's loads of artists, and also in rural Ireland around, which are not even like, it's a few that are really established, but I think it's little bit maybe a little bit closed down community. I'm not really sure. It was like few ones which been like from before Inspire. I noticed there will be all the same names in the shops or in the gallery here. And I think what you did, like you give the platform as well for so many great young artists here, and they even started in Inspire Gallery. Like, I don't know, Rebecca Digan, for example, and she's coming to my mind, and and others. So it's a very good point you making.
It's wonderful to see artists that I initially worked with, see them growing and watching them gain confidence and establishing themselves as artists, and that's very gratifying to see the artists grow. There's so many different personalities, but what I will say, all the artists I've worked with, whether they're from Dublin or outside Dublin, in rural areas or international, there's a strong sense of community and support. So this idea that it's elitist, or it's a closed group or closed circle, I don't believe so. I found that all the artists that I've worked with, and there's been many, that they're open and the public as well. I think it's about breaking down the barriers as well, and
yeah,
moving away from that, elitist attitude, and allowing people to be artists and allowing the public to come in and
Yes.
view the
Yeah.
work. I was always surprised by the people that would come to see the shows, all different types of people, a cross section of the community. And what I loved about it was they'd be very tentative and very, not reluctant, but they'd come in and they wouldn't know what to expect, and they'd they'd be very cautious, and they'd end up staying for the whole evening and
Yes.
engaging in the artworks. And I could see that from them being very reluctant to suddenly coming in and going, oh wow, and enjoying it. So that was quite a wonderful thing to see. The public breaking down those barriers and enjoying, because a lot of people think, that they're not part of that group. They're not part of, the art scene, or, I used to get people asking me, well, is it okay if I come to the opening? What do I wear? Blah, blah, blah. There was always these kind of, restrictions that they imposed on themselves. And, I was like, no, this is open to everyone. And
Exactly.
seeing that actually happen. And that's why I loved doing the different variety of shows on a regular basis. So it was continuous. It was like a life form. Do you know what I mean? It was like something evolving and organically growing all the time. So, and you remember we had huge openings,
Yes.
and seeing it gradually build as well.
We
It
have
takes
media, we
time.
have television, we have RTE, like we have famous people coming, we have just starting art students as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it builds up a whole network of people, which is great. And once they come in, and they loved it. And they still do. I'm working in Ranelagh Arts as a curator at the moment, and the same thing. I think once you break down those barriers, you're allowing the artists to showcase their work. You're also allowing the public to come in and freely view the works and be part of it, be part of the experience, which I think is wonderful. It's facilitating, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. It's facilitating the artists and facilitating the public. And I think it's really important now to have that culture and creativity,
Exactly.
and that area, that place that we can do that. Why do we have to look at art on your phone or on social media? You need to actually physically, you cannot duplicate the experience of going into a gallery and seeing a work of art right in front of you, and experiencing the emotions, the feelings when you look at the work, whether you like it or not. You're actually engaging with it, rather than, looking at it on social media, looking at it in a magazine, looking at it on television. You cannot replicate the connection you have by physically going into a place and seeing the work.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful experience.
It's a beautiful experience, and because this is a Polish radio, it was like loads of Polish artists as well. I think over the years was experience. Sofia is Polish.
Yes.
So yeah.
Well, Inspire Gallery was set up by Sylwia Bartosz, originally from Poland, who's now based in Ireland, and she brought the Polish community together. And what was very, very inspiring for me, and helped me to move forward, was seeing Sylwia and the Polish community actually getting up and getting out there and doing it, and not sitting on their behind and, taking advantage of another country or another situation. They were very progressive in that way and proactive in that way. And that inspired me. It was like, Dino, just do your thing. And
Yeah.
seeing the Polish community and seeing other people getting out there and doing it, and it encouraged me.
Yeah, it definitely, and it's still going. But like the people,
Yeah.
some people been very active many years. Then maybe they're a little bit behind. But like here, Polish communities, it's flourishing. I think Ireland is a very welcoming country for foreign people, and it's a very open country. And being here 20 years, I did see how Ireland change in that 20. Like it was. It's incredible change in mentality. I think, from someone from very poor people mentality here in Ireland, very nice people, but like a little bit closed down, with a little bit not open always to new. Now it's Dublin is a kind of a metropolitan city. It's becoming that.
Dublin was
it really is.
Dublin, growing up in Dublin in the 1980s, it was uneducated in the global community, in worldly, and just seeing it grow and mature is actually incredible in our lifetime, that we're actually being part of that and being witness to that, seeing a country actually grow and find its feet, find its personality, being open and inclusive, and seeing the diversity. I grew up in the 80s, and if someone told me the amount of different nationalities would be here living in Ireland and being part of Irish society, I would have gone, really? Is that really going to happen? And it actually has happened. So we have seen huge growth. We've seen all the pros and cons of that. And it's continuing now as well. But what I think is happening right now is that we need to balance things out. And that's why I think it's very, very important for independent businesses, for independent creative people, to have an opportunity to be part of Dublin and not be marginalized, not be pushed aside for the bigger corporate international element. There needs to be a balance, and I think that's what's happening now. It seems to be a transition and an awakening to that. And that's it. Do we need another Starbucks? Do we need another Centra? Do we really need those things? Do we need another gallery? Yes. Do we need another small independent business? Yes. So we need just to balance it out. And I think that's very important. And there's a lot of talent here, and we shouldn't have to leave. We shouldn't have to go somewhere else.
I think at the moment Ireland is in phase when everybody come here. Look, what did you say? That's 2013. I remember that time. Like the Polish community was very big here and very vibrant. Now it's still big, but lots of people is going home. Not so many new ones coming. It's more stable. But so many Brazilians here. There's so many Brazilians now, and South Americans and people who are. Some of those people, they were going to stay here. They were going to be living here, and Ireland is a new home. So I think it's from my perspective, I think what I see happen in Ireland, because when I came here in 2002, I think it was very little. It's still international for me, because like in Poland was no one, but like it was less, definitely, and not so many Polish people here. And anybody like the minority, I mean, still loads of Indian, Pakistani.
Yes.
But that grows. That grow.
Yes.
Doing again, I think so. Yeah, and I think this is good for a country. Like diversity is always good, and I think making people more tolerant to each other, and tolerance of Irish people definitely grows. Oh yeah, now it's so for some reason your screen is big.
Okay, I've just
whatever you did.
turned my phone.
Okay, turn your phone. You might see that. Yeah. I think there's 20 minutes,
Okay.
so maybe
No,
they're gonna cut
what
that.
you're talking about.
Switch off your camera, because like I'm gonna say around 20 minutes after they need to cut it. You can switch off it, because I switch off mine, so it's like, because it's disturbing.
How do I don't know how to. Is
No,
it off?
leave it. It's okay.
What you've just been talking about really kind of highlights the global village that Dublin has become in many ways. It's a small, compact city, and you have a lot of talent within that, and a lot of artists within that, working with NCAD and DIT and other colleges. You know, it's great to see the talent and the confidence as well. You know, in the younger generation, who are willing to take risks and willing to get out there and showcase their work. But also, you know, we need to kind of understand especially in the art world, you know, you need to build up your reputation. You need to, there's a lot of things you need to do. And it's something that you need to be committed to for the long haul. It's not something that's going to happen straight away. Of course, it can do, but there's a lot of great talent here, and it needs to be nurtured. And there should be more galleries. There should be more outlets for artists in the city. And the more the merrier. You go to other cities in Europe, and there's streets full of galleries. There's streets full of creative outlets, workshops, and they're allowed to flourish. And Dublin,
yes, they are to flourish, but they're allowed to flourish. I think here, even you can. I was passing Marion Square. Like, you can even things like that. People do have space. I think Ireland is a pretty nice for artists. You know, pretty nice place. And can you tell us, just for a change, what you're doing now, about your work in Runner Art, about the exhibition you've done and you're planning to do, and maybe a little bit more about your cooperation with Runner Arts?
Yeah, I joined Runner Arts in November last year. I curated a group show, and from that I've continued to work with them. I help with their curation and hanging of their shows, and I think that's really important, to be part of the community. After COVID, there was a sense of isolation for everyone, and for me personally, I tried to continue online, and I did a number of online shows, which were great and successful, but I just didn't have the same feeling of actually physically being part of an exhibition, or, you know, the actual life source, the flesh and blood of being in a gallery space, of working with the artists, hanging the works, the reaction from the public. All those ingredients were kind of in the background when I was doing online shows. So being part of Ranelagh Arts has allowed me to be part of that community again. And we got a number of projects coming up during the summer. We got a group show coming up in July, and that will be advertised on the Ranelagh Arts Instagram and my Instagram page, which is Slow Lane Gallery. So it's I'm excited about the future. But as I said earlier, this is something that I want to do and will always do. So it's a continuous journey for me. I'm working with new artists that I haven't worked with before. I'm excited about that. And, you know, the different ideas that are coming in with the works, the different concepts of the artists have for their works. So I'm excited about that. I don't think there should be any censorship. ownership. I think if you've got a concept, a project you want to do, you should be allowed to do it freely without restrictions. And I think that's hugely important for an artist, to give them the confidence, to give them the opportunity, the open space. You know, there's no agenda other than the artist's agenda, and I think that's hugely important, because in the past, I have put in proposals with other galleries outside Ireland to showcase work as a curator. And the response has been very kind of mixed. You know, a lot of galleries, they want to know what they can get from it. You know, they often want to know a sales pitch. They also, you know, want to know what is commercial for them. And I think these are important factors, you know, because at the end of the day, you do want to sell your work, and it is a business. But also, you know, to impose restrictions on artists can be, can have a negative effect. You know, I think an artist should be allowed to showcase, to show freely their ideas, their concepts. And that's something that I will always do, and I'm looking forward to doing it in the future.
Yeah, this is very interesting. And what we can expect on those exhibitions, and when we can see them on Ranelagh Art, there will be, like, roughly, I know will be probably on social media. So please follow Slow Lane Gallery on Instagram. You will get all the information there. But so how many of exhibitions during the summer you are planning?
Well, at the moment, I have 2 in the pipeline. There's going to be a group show that will open on July the 5th, and that will run for most of July. That's going to be a group exhibition featuring Irish and international artists across a variety of mediums. So yeah, pop in with the information on the opening. Everyone's welcome to come in for the opening, and then there will be daily viewings as well. I'm also trying to organise little workshops with the artists, artist talk as well, because I think it's important for the public to engage with the artists themselves. You know,
Very
I think
important.
that's very important.
That's a very good point.
You know, we can represent the artist. We can showcase the work, but when the artist is there, you know, it's from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? It's a direct connection that you have, you know. So we'll be doing a lot of workshops, and then later on in the summer, we're working on a solo exhibition of an Irish artist. More details will be up on social media during the summer. But yeah, there's a lot of activity going on, and I think it's important for people to come in and see the work. I think that's the important thing, is support by, you know, by footfall, by actually going in and having a look. Ranelagh Arts is right across from Ranelagh Lewis.
Yes,
so it's very
exactly.
easy to get in and out to see. It's a small, intimate gallery. It's open daily as well. So there's a great opportunity for people just to pop in. And then the openings itself, they're always great, as you know. It's a celebration of the show. There's always drinks and music, and we try to make it a special launch of an exhibition each time.
Yeah, it was loads of, I remember in like we have during the openings, sometimes we have classic musicians, music. We had dancers, we have everything almost there.
Yes.
And poetry, of course. So it's always extra extraction. So yeah, welcome. It's not only an opening, always it's an experience. Okay, so thank you very much for the very interesting conversation. And
thank you for giving me the opportunity to have a chat with you, because I think it's important to highlight the creativity in the city and to champion it and to allow it to flourish as well. I think especially now, you know, and we tend to forget, you know, how easy it is to dismiss this and to break down the barriers. You know, it's you might think, oh,
Yeah.
I've met so many artists that are so talented, but they're shy and they don't have the confidence to showcase their work. So by
Yeah.
us encouraging them, by us allowing them to showcase their work and giving them the platform, that really is, you know, it's really important.
It is really important. And yeah, one another thing which just came to my mind: if you are an artist, like Polish artist, and you listen to us, just contact maybe Dino via, you can send him a message, maybe via Instagram on Slow Lane Gallery, find it, follow it, and just get in touch with him. And because if you want to show your art, you're always open, like you are always open to meeting new artists and tell you what to do. Like, don't be shy.
Absolutely not. Direct
And
message me on Slow Lane Gallery on Instagram. I'm happy to connect, and there's always an opportunity to show your work. I think it's really important to support each other. And yeah, looking forward to all the amazing Polish artists showing their work in Dublin. It's great.
thank you very much, Dino, again. So thank you. That was Kaleidoscope of Inspiration with Sylwia Bartosz.